Thanks for coming out to lunch with us. This is a webinar series organized by the ESIP Education Committee and hosted by the Earth Science Information Partners, a national organization with over 120 members collaborating to advance the use of earth science data across society. My name is Margaret Mooney, and I have the honor to introduce Ryan Boller from NASA Goddard, who is going to speak to us today about NASA Worldview. Thanks, Ryan, for joining us.
Thanks, Margaret, for inviting me here. I am excited to be presenting to this audience. So let's see if I can share my screen here.
I see it. Yep.
Through?
We got it.
Okay, great. Cool. So I am speaking to you from the EOSDIS project office. If you're not familiar with EOSDIS, that's the Earth Science Data and Information System project. And we're generally responsible for managing the Earth science observations that we gather from NASA satellites. So we built Worldview in this case to allow anybody to see what our satellites see, and they see quite a bit. So on a daily basis, we have over 15 satellites actively monitoring the planet, looking at things like oceans and forests, clouds, soils, and Worldview provides a way to look at the data that we collect and gain a qualitative understanding of what's being observed. We can also get the underlying data as well to do more of a quantitative analysis. But the first approach here is basically to do some visualizations and get a qualitative sense. So when you first load Worldview, you'll get this this tutorial option here to pop up. I will close that since I'm here to give you a demo in person, but you can feel free to take that tour. So when you first get in, you have this interface that looks a little bit like Google Maps, where you can drag the map, you can zoom in, but you'll notice that you can do other things too, like you can change the date. So what we're looking at right now is today's imagery, and this is looking at the Terra spacecraft and the MOST instrument, and it goes from pole to pole. So you'll see these sort of vertical swaths. So this is the leading edge of today's data, and basically this is what the Earth looks like today within the last, say, 3 hours or so. We can also go back and change the time here if we use this time control on the left. So this is looking at yesterday and the day before and so forth. And so our products go back as far as the 90s and I think even 80s. This particular product right now goes back to about 2012, and we're working to get it back to as far as 2000. So we'll look at today for starters here. Let's see. So say I'll go through, rather than go through the interface, pieces of it individually. I'll go through a use case here, which in my case I happen to be shopping for a vacation right now to the beach, and so I want to look for the warmest water temperature that I can find, and so and hopefully satellites will be able to help me do that. So what I'll do here is go to this Add Layers button on the left, and it'll bring up a whole set of possible layers that basically different kinds of data products that our satellites measure. They're divided up between either hazards and disasters or science disciplines. In this case, we'll go to science disciplines, things like atmosphere, land surface. I want to go to oceans in this case and look at the sea surface temperature. I'll pick this first product, and you can get a sense for what these products measure and how they measure them. We really spend a lot of time to try to make these descriptions as basically human readable as possible, as opposed to being very dense with technical information. It tries to give you a basic overview of what these products are measuring, and in some cases how they're measuring it. So once I do that, there's not data for this product today, but if I go back to, I guess it would be 2 days ago, you'll see this sort of bright rainbow of colors here, which, well, rainbows are not particularly good for visualization in certain cases, but I'll live with it in this case. But this shows you, let's see, basically the global ocean temperature as of, this is 2 days ago, which for my purposes of finding a beach, so we'll call it close enough. So what I can do then is start to zoom in and see, okay, so I live in Washington, D.C., and if I look at the waters out here, they're going to be pretty cold. And you can look, as I'm moving the cursor on the right, you'll see on the left here the measurement. It'll tell you exactly how how warm or cold that water is in that particular area. So not surprisingly, it's pretty chilly up here. But if I want to start looking down, I can start to go down, and I think Florida's probably a pretty good bet for that. If I want to keep going further south into Central America, I can turn on some labels and some borders. I'm thinking Costa Rica is probably a pretty good bet here too for some pretty warm water. So that's sort of one idea of how you can use this interface to look at data. I'll actually also use this product arranger here. I can change the ordering of things, and so now the labels are on top as opposed to this particular sea surface temperature layer. So that's one kind of data set. If you want to see other things that are going on in the world right now, you can click on this Events tab. It'll give you a listing of recent natural events that are happening. And right now, it's heavily focused towards North America, and in this case, there's not a whole lot going on that's listed right now. But if I go to this particular event here from last month, this is a set of fires in Oklahoma. And what it'll do is it'll change the time, it'll change the data products you're looking at, and it'll show you in this case a set of fires that are burning, that were burning back in March. And so each of these red dots represent a point of likely burning areas. And then you can also see the visible smoke coming off of those fires. If you want to learn more about those events, you can click over to these individual links that are related to it. In this case, I'll click on this Earth Observatory link, which is a great resource if you haven't been there before. And they'll have great stories about particular events. It'll give you a good description, some background on it, so forth. But I also encourage, if you're looking to use this in the classroom, you can take it the other way. Like I said, Earth Observatory is a great resource. And you can start here by looking at things like the listing of their natural hazards. You can say, okay, well, which one am I interested in? Ash and snow, dust. And so you can see, okay, this dust storm was observed on March 29th. I'm going to go see if I can find that in Worldview now and try to explore it further. So I can go back to Worldview. I can change to March 29th. And then zoom over to the African coast, the west side. And sure enough, there's this large dust plume that was just described over there in Earth Observatory. So we can do things with this dust plume too. You want to do things like take a picture of that and share it. You can use this camera tool in the upper right corner, pick some options here, which I'll gloss over for the moment, and I can click download. And basically, that'll give you a standalone image then that you can save and share and do whatever you like with. Right now, it's generating that image. I'll give it a second here. It should come up. Yep, there it is. And let's see. We can also, if you want to look at this particular event over time, you can adjust the time using this time slider down here, and you can see that dust storm lasted several days. I can also take an animation of that particular dust storm here. I can click this movie icon here, click the repeat button, and basically it'll load an animation of that particular area. You can also, if you want to share this link with somebody else, you can use the link button up here, copy that link. I can open a new tab, and what that'll do is it'll drop you back in the application exactly where you just were. And two other quick things I want to show before we end here. We can also look at the poles, and so I'll click down to Antarctica, for example, and then I'll go back up to the North Pole. So you can really get a sense of the entire extent of what our satellites capture. Poles are important for many reasons, obviously, and we can do some sort of remote surfing here as well and look at, in this case, this is a whole load of sea ice that's over here off the coast of Greenland. We can look at that over time as well. So one last thing that I'll leave you with here is a relatively new layer that we just added to Worldview called the Viewers day-night band layer, which is different than most of other layers. Most of them are measured during the daytime. This one's measured at night, and so we can look at it. We can see things like city lights. We can see things like shipping fleets. We can even see, if we go up to the poles, we can see things like the aurora here. And then that'll change. Again, we measure this every day, so you can see that change over time. So with that, I think my 10 minutes are up, so I will stop here and pause for questions.
I've unmuted everyone, but I think people have muted themselves. So Ryan, I just think that's so cool. I love MODIS anyways, but I didn't know you could do little animations too. It's just such beautiful imagery. Do you mind calling up not today's but yesterday's aurora? Because it was really bright over North America. I didn't know we could see the whole